So here's a quick tutorial on one of Google Documents' cool tools, that of actual Google Documents. So here I am, I just signed into Google, and if we go, we've got image, videos, maps, news, mail, or we're going to go down here to Documents. I want to talk about two different things regarding documents. One of the things I want to point out is how easy it is to make Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, things like that. So I want to go over here to Create, and then I have a bunch of choices. Document, Presentation, Spreadsheet, Form, Drawing, Table, Collection, blah, blah, blah. Document is really just sort of a Microsoft Word, if you will, but it's sort of a stripped down Microsoft Word. So think of it as Microsoft Word circa 2000, 1995. Got 95% of the functionality of Microsoft Word, but it doesn't have all those bells and whistles, but most of us don't need those. Presentation is the Google Docs version of PowerPoint. Spreadsheet is Google Docs version of Excel. Form and drawing and table are a little bit different. So just so you can sort of see how they are, here's a Google document, and we can change the name of the document, call it test document. We hit OK. Now it's got the title of it. Get rid of the ad times, or not the ad, but the comments. And as you can see, it looks very familiar to Microsoft Word. So you have File, standard things there, Edit, standard things there, View, standard things there. All the standard things that you're used to in Microsoft Word, but again, not with all of the bells and whistles. We don't have like a mail merge or anything like that. But the idea of Google Documents is it's supposed to be a stripped down version. It doesn't have all those bells and whistles, so it's very easy to use, moves very fast. Don't have to install it. It's a great thing. So for example, our choices for font, we've only got 20 choices for font instead of 10,000 in Microsoft Word. Standard, bold, italics, underline, insert links, things like this. So, hello world. Oh yeah, I can't type. Hello world. And if I type hello world, there's this little spell checker. It's underlined, in red. It's got an automatic spell checker, so if I right click on this, it will say, oh, did you read one of those? So, standard spell check, standard word. And you'll notice up here it says saving, and then after a little bit of time, it'll say all changes saved. So one of the cool things about Google is that it's always saving. It's on autosave all the time. In fact, I don't think you can shut it off. So it's always saving. And you don't have to worry about making sure you don't lose your work. It's always saved sort of on, if you will, the Google's network drive. So we go back over here to the tab that says Google Docs. You'll notice now it says right there, lists right there, test document. And that's the document that we're working on. And it says last modified and who my owner is. Talk about that in a second. So here's my document, and I type my document, blah, 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 blah. All right, so here's my document, and I want to say share it. One of the cool things we can do about Google Docs is we can share the document very, very easily. So if you're in Microsoft Word and you're an instructor or you're a student and you want to share the document with somebody else, if you're using Microsoft Word, it's kind of a pain. You're going to have to post it. You have to make sure that the other person who's reading it has the latest version of Microsoft Word and things like that. Google Docs solves all those problems by the share function. So if we go up here to share, you'll see that when I kind of highlight it, it says private only to me, only you can access, meaning I'm the only human being who can access this document. So if I click on that share button, it gives me all sorts of choices. So I can set the individual document and the settings for the individual document. So you notice it says private, only the people listed below can access it. And I can add people. Well, first of all, I can change it. I can make it public on the web such that anybody on the planet can see it. I can make anyone with the link to see it, or I can make it private such that only I can see it. At this point, I'm just going to make it private. But what I can do is I can add people. So I can, if I want, say, share it with myself, which is docot@gmail.com. And I can make it such that the people that I'm adding, I can give them choices. I can either say they can edit it, they can comment, or they can just view it. And I can tell them that they can add a message, things like that. So I can share this document, or any other document, with anybody on the planet whom I want. If I go back to my Google Docs, as you can see, here is my listing. When I go to Google Docs, you can see a bunch of documents. And when you look at the documents, there's the videos, or I'm sorry, there's the documents, there's a form, let's see, there's a syllabus there, there's some spreadsheets in here, and over here you see that there's owner, and there's only one of them that's me. And Marcotte is actually not me, this is somebody else, it's the other Marcotte. I have two different accounts. There's a Stephen Tuckey, so Stephen Tuckey is the owner of this, but he has given, it looks like he's given me the ability to see it. So this is a document that I am not the owner of, and so you can see the last edit was made 83 minutes ago by the other person. And if I go in and edit this, because I have editing privileges, see, I can go in and edit it. And then it's always automatically saving, as you can see. Then when Steve goes and looks at it, he would see all of my edits. And what we can do is we can sort of collaborate in terms of I can go in and edit it, then he can go in and edit it, and we can do this back and forth all day long, and we can make changes. We can undo changes, and if you only want someone to be able to look at it and not edit it, again, you can go into the share settings and change whether or not they have access to it, whether they can change it, and things like that. So another cool thing we can do with Google Documents, and I'll just sort of use the actual document as sort of our reference, is we can publish it. So there's that publish to the web. So many instructors will have like websites, you know, so like our personal website from JCC we have, and you know, that's kind of a pain in the butt, or we have JetNet, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. So what we can do is, in our own little documents, if we open up our thing, what we can do is we can publish it. If we select publish to the well, we can, notice it says control publishing. And if we say start publishing, let's say, yes, of course I want to start publishing. And there is a link, right? This is a link, and if I hit Control C, and then we open up another tab, and then Control Paste. Now when you'll notice it pops up, and it looks different than the document because that's a web page. So all it basically did is took all the text from my Google document and turned it into a very simple web page. There's the title on top, there's some Google Docs on the bottom, and there's all the text from my document. So notice if I go over here and say, this is a test, and I update this and I make it bold and blank, you know, make it really big. Notice it says saving. Now it says all changes saved, and now if I go back over to that web page and I hit refresh, we're going to get lucky. Now there's a little bit of a delay. We'll come back to that in a little bit because there's a little bit of a delay before it publishes. What else can we talk about? So as I said, presentation is the Google form of PowerPoint. You can upload a PowerPoint file and it will convert it as best it can into a Google presentation. Again, we have the added ability to share things. We can edit things, we can make presentations, all that stuff. Google Spreadsheet, again, is a form of an Excel, is a stripped down Excel. You have the same sort of functions. You can do the same sort of formatting. You can do the borders, alignments. You can do simple functions, sum, average, count, things like that. And so good for spreadsheets, for grade books. You can use for grade books, and you can publish to the web, you know, portions of a certain sheets of a spreadsheet, all that stuff. And so because it's all sort of like tied together in your Google Documents, you know, and of course they talk to each other, you know, very, very nicely. You've got a collection, which is just a fancy name for a folder. You've got the ability, a drawing is just a stripped down version of a drawing editing program. And so let's say I want to draw, I want to make some cool little picture. So I do a little scribble, And this is in and of its own right, deserves its own little screencast. So I have this little picture, okay? And now say I want to put that into my test document. I want to put it in this picture. Okay? So you can, of course, do like insert a drawing, and that would make a new drawing. So it opens up a whole new window and allows me to do my little scribble thing, save and close. There's my little scribble thing and its picture. But what if I had some other drawing that I had been working on? This is a separate, as you see, I've got a separate tab with a separate drawing. It might have its own file, drawing, reference. All right, it's its own separate file that I'm working on. I'm like, oh, you know what? I want, this particular thing here, this squiggle, to go. I've got two squiggles in this drawing reference, but I just want this one squiggle to go on my other document. So cutting and pasting doesn't so much work because, well, ask Microsoft. It doesn't like Google. But so what we have is a thing called the web clipboard. And so if you click on that and it says copy, notice it says copy shape to web clipboard. So if we click on that, and now I can go over to my test document, and there's that web clipboard again. And when I click on it, I give it a second, and there it updates, and now it gives me that choice. And so now I paste it. And now it's pasted as an image into my Google Doc. And again, all changes save change. So we go back to our web reference, our publish page, and we hit refresh. Still hasn't gotten there yet. It will eventually, I promise. So all these things are sort of tied together. So we can do, I've never tried this, but we can find out. If I highlight that sort of section and I go to web clipboard and it says, oh, copy cell range 9 rows by 3 columns. I click on that, copy into web clipboard. Now I go over to my test document and I go to my web clipboard, and there's the 9 by 3 cell range, and I drop it in, and it puts it in there. Now the formatting is a little bit wonky, but that's okay because I can adjust that easily enough. And so it put in all of my cells. And so I can easily copy from a Google Doc spreadsheet into a Google document, sort of the word processing document, seamlessly. I can I can take a drawing and I can cut and paste either using the web clipboard and put that over into my document. So if I wanted to do, for example, my sample calculations, I could do that over here and the like. And since I'm almost out of time, I'm going to go over here and, as all changes saved, and we'll see if our test document page, oh, there it has. So now you notice that this is again is the published web page, and I can't do anything about this. This isn't the Google Doc. This is the published web page, right? So I can highlight things if I want, but this is just the published web page. And there's the spreadsheet, there's everything, and you'll notice that it looks exactly like what it looks like in the Google Doc. So there you go. Let me know if you have any questions.